So I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but Waves decided to give you guys access to every single one of their plugins for a monthly subscription, of course. It's 25 bucks a month and you get access to all of them. So if you've ever wondered like, oh, I want to get this plugin because I think it'll help me, but I don't know if it's going to work and I'll just have wasted money, whatever. Now you can actually get access to all of them and try them all whenever you want. Now, if you're already sold, please use my affiliate link in the description. It'll support me. I would really appreciate it. But if you want to learn more, just keep watching. Now, they do have Waves Essential, which is basically just a cheaper plan and it gives you less of their plugins, but still quite a few. It says right here that if you pay annually, it'll save you 2 months worth of your subscription, which is good. So $250 a year for all of these plugins, to me, is just kind of a no-brainer. I currently have access to all the Waves plugins as well, and I want to show you a handful that I've discovered from having access to all of them that have really helped my mixes and masters. But before we get into it, I want to talk about today's sponsor real quick, which is DistroKid. If you're watching this, you obviously make music, and if you don't have your music on Spotify and Apple Music, at the very least by now, DistroKid is the answer. They start at only $1.92 per month. I've been on their $3.33 per month plan for years now, well before they sponsored me. So I absolutely love their service. They've been extremely reliable. All of their plans come with unlimited uploads, and you can take your music down whenever you want. You can put your music on Shazam and stuff like that for only a couple bucks a year. You can get an official artist channel on YouTube, and that's really just to name a few things. They collect all your royalties for you, and you can easily split them to all of the collaborators on a project through their email. If you want to sign up for them, use my VIP link at the top of the description. I would really appreciate it. It'll save you money and it'll support me. Anyways, huge thank you to DistroKid. Let's get to the plugins. Now, the first plugin I want to show you is called L3 Multi-Maximizer. I know it looks scary, but I promise it's not. If you're familiar with multiband compression, it's basically the same thing, but a limiter. This plugin is very, very good for mastering. Most people understand a limiter, which just is a straight line across and you adjust the threshold to where it limits, and then it just cuts everything basically the same. But what a multiband limiter can do is change how much it limits certain frequency ranges. This is really important because a limiter on the low end is going to make it sound very crummy, but a limiter on the high end is not going to make much difference but making it sound louder. So when you have control over which frequency ranges get what amount of limiting, it sounds way better. Over here on the left, we have the threshold, which is the decibel volume in which it's going to start limiting. And then we have the out ceiling, which is where it's going to raise the decibel volume to after all of the limiting has been done. Usually people like to put the out ceiling to -1 dB. This is because Spotify's default dB is -1. Over here we have the 5 sections. We have our lows, our mid lows, our mids, our mid highs, and our highs. Usually for me, I like to isolate the mid lows to be just the kick section. You can see here we got green, which means it's correlating to this section of controls. We click this, and if we push play, you can hear it's just the kick. Everything else below that is going to be, of course, the sub. And what I like to do is I set the priority higher for both the kick and the sub. Basically what this does is it raises the ceiling on which it starts limiting so that the kick and the sub are getting the least amount of reduction from the limiter. You can also adjust the volume gain for each of these sections as well. So if you want something to sound louder and it comes through and it hits the limiter and releases and still sounds really good, you can also increase the gain of each one of these sections to make them louder. Then we have the mids, mid highs, and highs. These are pretty much always going to get a gain boost. I don't normally mess with the priority too much unless in the mids or mid highs it's starting to sound crunchy. Usually you don't have to adjust the priority in the high end from my experience. You really just need to adjust the gain up and then throw a notch filter after to get rid of any harsh frequencies that are coming through. So I did a little remix to my song Acid and I made like a club version of it. I'm gonna play it along and turn just the L3 Multi-Maximizer on and off to show you what the difference is. The next plugin I want to show you is called MMXVII Screamer. I'm going to use it on this project, though it's not actually a part of it, just to show you what it's going to sound like. A lot of distortion plugins tend to add more of just a saturation where they kind of limit, boost, and a little bit of distortion on the mid section. But with this, it actually ends up adding a lot of noise and static throughout. So you can get that very raunchy, aggressive, I guess, broken evil sound. So let me just show you what the default preset sounds like. This has honestly been the best distortion plugin that I've used for getting that distorted effect sound. If we put it on the smoked vocal preset, you can hear a lot more of that static sound. So if you make screamo music or you're doing some some really cool like yelling background vocals that you want effects on, or even just instruments, like this can work on instruments as well, this plugin is amazing. And the last plugin I want to show you is called Submarine, and I bet almost none of you have heard of this plugin. Basically, if you ever download a sample, or say you have like a one shot that you want to either be turned into a bass, or it's meant to be a bass but it doesn't have a lot of that very low end, this plugin basically does a really good job of analyzing, resampling, and pitching your sound in order to give it a sub. Now you can have 2 subs if you want, but usually I only end up doing 1. You can mess with the drive, which pretty much just adds distortion. Down here you can of course adjust the frequency range as well, so say your sample is above 120 hertz, you can have the sub fill all the way up to 120 hertz. For this song specifically, I just left it at 60 hertz. You can adjust the dry wet as well, so if it's at 50-50, it's going to give you 50% sub, 50% your original sample. So if you want it to be a little less intense overall, you can just, you know, turn this down. I actually ended up using this on a bass sample, which I felt needed a little bit more of that rumbly low end. So let me just play you the drop right now. On my head steady, on my head steady, come on me. So I'm gonna play it along and I'm gonna show you what it does. Now, if you're just listening in headphones or you don't have some very good studio monitors, you're probably not gonna notice much of a difference. But watch within this EQ around this low end section when the note gets higher. I'm gonna toggle Submarine on and off and you'll notice a boost and a reduction when Submarine comes in and goes away. Now, though my range is set to 60 hertz, it's pretty much only adding stuff between 20 and 35 hertz. Getting in the habit of taking care of your very low end is very important, not only for your own, you know, mixing and mastering skills, but also if you ever go to perform, you may hear a lot of that, you know, thumpy low end in your headphones. But when you start to have full subs on stage that are meant to balance out sound and there's not much coming from them, you are going to feel the difference. Let me know in the comments if there's any plugins you want me to try out if you're not going to sign up for the subscription. If you do want to sign up for it, make sure to use my affiliate link in the description once again. I appreciate everyone watching. Anyways, guys, it's been your boy MMXVII, and I'm out. Peace.